you refuse to tell people, hey, me and Rem haven't even slept in the same bed since May 2022. You don't want to tell nobody that. You were so wrapped up in the whole black love thing. That was your thing.
Since I met her, I have written 90% of the rhymes that came out of her mouth.
To the outside world, Papoose was the blueprint, the kind of man every woman wished for when she got tired of the games. A man who held it down for Remy Ma while she was locked up. No cheating, no disappearing act. Just loud, solid love, when everybody else would have folded. For years, that black love image they built together looked unbreakable. In a time where marriage was crumbling left and right, they stood tall, like a symbol of real loyalty. But now, that perfect picture's starting to fade, and behind all that ride-or-die devotion was a man slowly falling apart. Now the streets are talking. Word is, Papoose ain't too eager to sign those divorce papers, and things are getting real murky with his rumored connection to boxing champ Claressa Shields. What used to be tight is cracking open wide, and the truth is crawling out. But hold up. Before we dive any deeper, make sure you grab a snack from argsnacks.com. Whether you want that smoky applewood bacon jerky or some of those freeze-dried treats, trust, it's fire. Even butter toffee peanuts if you're feeling fancy. Now back to the drama. From the outside, Papoose still looks chill, like nothing's wrong. But that cool look? It's hiding something way deeper. This ain't just about being faithful. It's about being trapped in a love that became his whole identity. This man ain't just heartbroken. He's emotionally tangled in a way that's hard to escape. To really understand where Papoose is mentally, we gotta talk about something called identity fusion. Now don't trip. This ain't no boring psych class. You're about to learn something real today. Social psychologist William B. Swan Jr. broke it down like this. Identity fusion happens when your whole sense of self gets locked into someone else or a group. You stop being you and start being us. So when that connection is threatened, it feels like you are being destroyed. That's why, for Papoose, leaving Remy ain't just a divorce. It's like dying inside. This man spent over 10 years building a whole story of love, loyalty, and unity. And walking away means watching that story burn. And get this, during a recent IG Live, Remy Ma dropped a little truth bomb. She said even though their relationship is in shambles, Papoose still clings to the image of black love like it's his lifeline. She even admitted that fancy push gift he supposedly gave her when she was pregnant. Yeah, she paid for it herself, but she let the world think he bought it just to protect the illusion he was chasing. According to Remy, they ain't even shared the same bed since 2022. And yet, Papoose kept holding tight to the black love image like it was still alive. But this ain't just denial. It runs deeper than that. Psych-wise, Papoose might not even be stuck on the relationship itself. He might be locked in with what the relationship meant to the world and to himself. See, when someone spends years performing loyalty, sacrifice, and ride-or-die energy in the public eye, it stops being about real connection. It turns into image maintenance, like keeping up a brand instead of living in reality. Psychologists call this ego attachment. It's when the idea of the relationship becomes more valuable than the actual relationship. And in Papoose's case, still pushing that black love fantasy might just be his way of keeping control over the story, over how people see him, and maybe even over himself. This ain't just about protecting love. It's about protecting his role in a fairy tale that made him feel important, needed, worthy. But when two people ain't even laying next to each other anymore, and one is still out here putting on a united front, that gap between real life and the performance gets dangerous.
That was my friend. I would be like, girl, you just turned 30 years old. You are a world champion. You are accomplished. You have made it from out the ghetto, from the slums, from the depths of Flint, Michigan. You don't got no kids. You have your whole life ahead of you. Why are you attaching yourself to this 47-year-old man that doesn't have anything going, has no career, no job, no income, except for the income that he's claiming off of you, your percentage, because he's your manager? Got you out here talking, looking crazy.
Emotionally dangerous. That illusion starts eating at the soul. And that might be exactly why Papoose reportedly dragged his feet on getting a divorce lawyer, or even collecting his stuff from the house. All the while, Remy already moved on with her new man, battle rapper Easy the Block Captain. And Papoose, he's now with his new boo, Cressa. Wait, is that the one that be rocking those tiny kitten heels? That her? You know who I'm talking about. Anyway, after all that heat and public fallout, Papoose finally filed for divorce on May 22, 2025. But it only happened after Remy aired out their dirty laundry for the whole internet to see. For a man who made loyalty his whole brand, having to face that kind of truth, that's like being stripped bare. Therapists say this kind of mess smells a lot like trauma bonding. That's when somebody gets attached to a partner who's inconsistent, controlling, or emotionally cold. But the emotional roller coaster gets so intense it hooks you in. And let's not forget, Papoose and Remy's whole connection started and grew during the hardest time of her life, her time behind bars. Their love was built in survival mode. Holding Remy down while she was locked up wasn't just about love, it was about purpose. Papoose made standing by her part of who he was. That loyalty, that was his whole identity. And when Remy got out, that loyalty didn't fade, it just went public. Gifts, gestures, red carpets. He turned devotion into a brand. But then came Remy's Instagram Live, and whew, the story she told, totally different. Remy said that even while she was behind bars, she was the one still paying all the bills. Yup, you heard right. Papoose had full access to her accounts, and she was out here covering 3 different apartments for him and his kids from past relationships. And yet, through all of that, she looked at her man and told herself, I'll just hustle and get it all back. That's some next level ride or die mentality. And honestly, this sounds real familiar. Some of y'all might be too young to remember, but this is giving Cher after Sonny or Tina after Ike. Strong women rebuilding while still carrying the weight. Now, back to this divorce mess. Papoose dragging it out and refusing to cut ties fast. That's more than stubbornness. Psychologists call it denial-based ego preservation. Basically, when your whole self-worth is tied up in a relationship, the end of it feels like death. So instead of accepting it, your mind fights to protect your identity, even if it means holding on to something that's long gone. And here's the catch. This kind of mental lock-in can spill over into your next relationship. Take Claressa Shields, for example. She might be catching the emotional leftovers. Papoose might like her, might even care about her. But that man is still mentally stuck in a marriage that already ended in everything but paperwork. He's showing up physically, but emotionally, he's still ghosted by Remy. This is what experts call legacy attachment. It's when someone stays bonded to a partner, not because the love's still alive, but because they've invested so much of themselves in the relationship story. It's not about feelings, it's about identity. Letting go of Remy would mean letting go of the man he believes he is. And let's be real, so much of his public value was built around being Mr. Loyal, the one who held it down no matter what. So now, he might be scared that without Remy, he's just forgotten, irrelevant, a faded symbol of a love that's no longer real. And if you need a deeper perspective, the Bible even spoke on this type of thing. Matthew 6:21 says, "Where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." Papoose's treasure wasn't just Remy, it was who he got to be by loving her. For Papoose, the real treasure was always loyalty. Not just loyalty to Remy, but loyalty to the belief that if you loved someone hard enough, deep enough, and long enough, you could save them. That your love could heal all the damage, carry the weight, and bring them back stronger. That kind of love feels holy, but the Bible warns us to. Psalm 146 verse 3 says, "Do not put your trust in princes, in human beings, who cannot save. Because when your whole identity is wrapped up in saving someone else, you forget that you might be the one bleeding. You lose track of your own brokenness." Papoose might be moving through the world with spiritual exhaustion, the kind that sneaks up after years of pouring love into someone who couldn't hold it. Not because they didn't want to, but because their cup was already cracked. That kind of heartbreak doesn't always make you walk away. Sometimes it just makes you cling harder, not to the person, but to the story you told yourself. The story that kept the pain looking like purpose. Now he's with Claressa. Maybe there's comfort there, maybe some peace. But until Papoose confronts the grief buried beneath years of blind loyalty, he's only ever going to be half there. And if Claressa is emotionally tuned in, she's going to feel that distance creeping in real fast. And let's not ignore the deeper layer here. Men are rarely taught how to deal with emotional abandonment. Society tells them to protect, to endure, but when that protection turns into a performance and the endurance becomes emotional paralysis, they don't have the tools to rebuild. They get stuck. Papoose may have loyalty on lock, but without emotional accountability, that loyalty becomes a prison cell with no key. And honestly, there's something beautifully painful about the way he loves. It's sacred, it's soulful, but it's also tragic. because it's love that won't let go, love that can't evolve, love that needs the relationship to stay broken just so it can keep trying to fix it. Until Papoose accepts that his worth is not based on being Remy's man, until he lets go of the dream and mourns it fully instead of chasing what's left of it, he'll stay frozen in time. Divorced on paper, but still emotionally married. Still proving himself to someone who may not be watching. Still dragging along a woman who deserves a full heart. Not recycled pieces of a past life. So the real question isn't, why won't he let go of Remy? The real question is, will he ever set himself free? Because real healing doesn't come from holding on to who you used to be. It comes from having the guts to become someone new. If this hit you deep, like, share, and subscribe to Juicy Scoop TV for more real talk and raw truth. Drop your thoughts in the comments.